a deep airland battle into the heartland of the enemy, an offensive into the heartland of the enemy, a kind of a blitzkrieg, so to say, and using a whole array of modern technology, and so that we reach into the heartland of the enemy at the fastest before he can respond. Some of the concepts that we have tried out, first and foremost, was total jointmanship with the Air Force, which you would have witnessed today, whether it was in the air strikes which came when the tank battle was on, whether it is in terms of the attack hepters or air cavalry as we call them, which came in to destroy tanks coming in from a different direction, or whether it was resupply of food and other logistic requirements, or casualty evacuation. You would have seen that there is total synergy between the Indian Army and the Indian Air Force throughout this exercise. And I've been following up the media coverage of Vijay Prahar, which has happened so far, and I found that you have been able to bring out this aspect in a very nice way. Some other aspects which we have been trying out, which are very much required, is ISR, is intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. Using space-based surveillance, using satellites, using drones, using photo recce missions from the aircraft, using our own radars, and also human intelligence in form of our surveillance detachments which are deployed in the enemy's territory. All the inputs coming to us in real time, being interpreted, analyzed, and providing the commander with a common picture of the battlefield. So to really modernize this in terms of higher bandwidth to convey images and to be able to convey to all headquarters, this aspect of ISR, I think, has been more or less validated. The second concept that we tried to validate in this exercise has been the air cavalry concept. In the next about 5 years, as you would have read, there's no secret, as you would have read in the newspapers, India is going to acquire 28 Apache attack helicopters, plus our own Indianized WSI or weaponized Rudra helicopters and light combat helicopters. So roughly we are going to go into the region of more than 200 of these fighting helicopters in the next 5 years or so. So if you're going to have so many assets, you need to have a concept to employ them. We have been developing this concept in consonance with the Air Force. What you have seen today is the culmination of that effort. When today we have the systems in place that when a land force is moving and they are in trouble, they need a maneuver from the air. In the third dimension, the attack helicopters, or what we call as air cavalry, the cavalry on ground and the cavalry in the air, will come and from an elevated platform destroy the opposition to help continue the advance and the offensive. This is the second thing that we tried out in this exercise. The third thing, you have often heard about the tactical nuclear weapon or chemical and biological attack which is possible from the enemy. So in the world of nuclear deterrence, there's one, India has a no first use doctrine. Sometimes the enemy can say, we will launch a tactical nuclear weapon, but that doesn't deter us. We have got sufficient CBRN, as they say, chemical, biological, and radiological war, NBC, nuclear, biological, chemical. We have got sufficient capability to take a tactical nuclear strike and not be deterred, deal with it separately and continue our offensive. So in the world of nuclear deterrence, if somebody has got a weapon, but you're able to counter it, then the deterrence reduces to that extent. So this aspect has been practiced in detail, and we found that we are able to withstand a nuclear, biological, or chemical attack and still continue our offensive and deal with our casualties effectively, including decontamination and all the associated things which are part of NBC warfare. So these are and all this is not possible if you do not have logistic support. You need food, you need medicines, you need fuel. With all these tanks moving, these helicopters moving, you need huge logistic support. And that too, we cannot overstock. Anything which is overstocked is subject to air raids and air attacks. So we have tried out a concept of JIT, just in time. The logistics reach the required place just as when it is required. So that requires a great deal of coordination, communication, and planning. So these, roughly, this has been the thrust areas of this exercise, and I'm very happy that the Strike One and all the forces involved, in cooperation with the Air Force and all the logistics elements and the combat support elements, have been able to gel together and make it possible. And I'm extremely happy with the outcome of this exercise, Vijay Prahar.
सर आपने सब कुछ बता दिया इंग्लिश में, अगर आप हिंदी में अगर कुछ कर पाए तो
हिंदी में भी कर लेंगे।